Right, ladies and gents, today we have day one of the epic Bride of Pinbot restoration. This is one hell of a project. Yeah, there's not much on the playfield. I haven't even got matching flipper bats, or slingshots, or bumper caps. So, yeah, this is going to be a hell of a project. But we've got to make a start, so let's crack it open and see what's inside. Right, so we'll have a quick look in the back box. We've got a driver board that looks reasonable. This is actually a couple of black fuses, so we might have some issues to look at. We need to strip all the fuses out and put the right fuses in anyway, because I don't believe this driver board actually came from this game originally. We have a soundboard and we have a CPU board. And, I don't know, doesn't look terrible. Can't see any obvious corrosion. Might be a little bit under there, but I don't know, kind of looks reasonable. I kind of want to power this up actually. Might connect up the transformer to the driver board and give it a fire up and see what voltages work and which don't. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Got a quick look at the playfield. There's like practically nothing on it. There's some targets, 3 of them, and 3 partially assembled pop bumpers, 2 non-matching flippers, and that's pretty much it. We've got a bit of wear. I mean, this is definitely not going to be a minty restoration. You know, this would probably need a new playfield if you want to make it look really nice. But for now, if we can get this up and running, it might make a decent player's machine. But yeah, we've got some serious work to do. I'm going to have a look underneath. Well, that's a shame. It has the old style System 11 pivots rather than the WPC ones, even though it's a WPC game. That would kind of make access to the playfield a bit easier. Anyway, let's have a look what we've got. Power switch, reasonable looking. Got some cut wires in this area. I want to check out what's going on over here before we power any of that lot up. Looks like the coin door's been hacked. It's still got a triple coin door on it, so I'm not sure what they've actually been hacking. Transformer. Let's check the voltages on that. What's it on? I think it's a 220. Yeah, it's a 220. It's probably wired for 220. Transformer doesn't look terrible. Little post there. Keep all of that. Yeah, speaker looks a little scabby. Some crap in this cabinet that he's cleaning up. Back of the playfield doesn't look terrible, to be honest. Yeah, I can work with that. That's kind of reasonable. I expect it needs quite a bit of work, but you know, certainly doable. Alright, okay. Well, so yeah, so first thing I'm going to do is work towards getting this fired up. So I'm going to check out the mains wiring, make sure it's safe, make sure it's wired up for the right voltage, check out these connectors, check out the main fuses, things like that, make sure it's not got a silly fuse in it. Once we've done all that, we can just, you know, get it fired up, see what voltages are present, see what needs doing. A little bit of cleaning here actually. I was getting sick to death of every time I touched something my hands got black, so I've just gone over and given it a bit of a wipe. I've got 3 filthy cloths now after doing that, but it's kind of a little bit cleaner. Certainly not ready to put parts on the playfield. That needs a good clean with some Novas 2 first, but just wiping down the crap all over it. Right, what I'm doing at the moment is basically doing some basic reassembly. These sockets were out, so I'll just put them back in. These switches need to go back in, and we've got a bunch of switches and lamps over this side. I just don't want anything, you know, flapping around loose, you know, so that potentially we could short a solenoid into the switch matrix or a solenoid into the lamps. So if we get everything back in where it's supposed to be, there's a lot less chance of something going wrong. Right, just checking the main fuse as part of my power up checks, and this is a 7.5 amp. Game calls for a 4 amp, so good job of check that one. Let's get the right fuse in there. Okay, so what I've done now is I've wired everything up pretty much, but then I've disconnected the power coming out of the driver board and going to the CPU and soundboard and so on. So what we're going to do is, and I've also pulled up all the fuses apart from one, which is the 12 volt one. So basically we'll put one fuse in at a time, measure the voltage on my meter, make sure it's correct, and then move on, put another fuse in and measure the voltage on that. until we get through them all. And then once we've verified they're all okay, we can start plugging other boards in. Right, so what we've done is, after the initial fuse blew, I've replaced the fuse and I've disconnected the two secondary outputs from the transformer. This is your main voltages and this is your GI. So with both of those disconnected, the transformer hums away when you plug it in with no short because the fuse isn't blowing, the fuse isn't getting hot. So the next step is I'm going to just basically test, for example, that there's no shorts to ground on any of these pins. Plug that back in, see if that fires up, then we'll know the GI string works. If it blows the fuse, then we know the GI is the fault. And vice versa, if the main voltage plug blows the fuse, we know that's where the fault lies. Right, so I'm checking the wiring in the cabinet from the GI. So the transformer here, that would plug into that connector there where my multimeter probes are. And we're basically getting, so I'm measuring between the yellow and the yellow and white striped wires, and we're getting 0.0 ohms. So that's a total dead short. So I think we can, say it's very likely that was the cause. I'm going to do the same and check what the pairs on the other main voltage connector, but I think it's the GI circuit that was actually shorting out the game and blowing the main fuse. Well, so far we've been able to test the 5 volt circuit without the fuse blowing, and it's measuring 4.93, so that's pretty good. I'll just keep going through each voltage until it blows the fuse again. Right, so let's just power up again. So, as you can see from all the LEDs that are currently lit, we've got our 5 volt, our 12 volt digital, our 12 volt switches, our 18, 20 and 50 volts. So all of those are currently working, so I think we're okay to plug in the CPU board. Last thing I'm going to do is just do a quick ripple check. It's not 100% accurate, but it gives you an idea if the filter capacitor on the 5 volt is dying or not. So, no. 6 millivolts of ripple or less. That's pretty good, I'm happy with that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is I've just plugged in the power to the CPU board, and we'll see if the CPU board's actually bootable or not. So here we go. Oh wow, it's booted. Oh, I wasn't expecting that. Okay, right, I guess the next thing we need to do is see if the display works. Then we might get to see something. Okay, I've got all the display hooked up, and this is going to be the first power up. I'm not overly confident. That display looks a bit burnt in all honesty. Oh god, let it go. Please don't blow up. Oh, wow. Wasn't expecting that. It's not in great shape. I don't know if you can see that. You can't really. Let me try turning the brightness on the camera down, see if I can get it to show up. Basically, I think the display gas at the top is outgassed. Yeah, it kind of shows up a little bit. Okay, well, I wasn't expecting to power up like that, so that's fantastic news. Okay, so I've got it into English now, so I can actually understand what's going on. I'll see if we can get the test mode to respond. Oh, excellent. Test report, time date not set, head motor switch error. Yeah, that might be because it's not there. That's not too bad. Fantastic. Alright, this looks pretty good. We can start testing things out and see what works and what doesn't. Alrighty, it seems like we've got a very small amount of attract mode lights working. I don't know yet if that's down to actually bulbs, connectors, or the actual driver board that's causing it not to work. So yeah, we'll do some investigation into that, see if we can get them all working. And there you go, in test mode it actually demonstrates the outgassing of the display quite well. When the display fades, it goes all fuzzy and sparkly. So yeah, that definitely needs a new glass, at least on the top one. Okay, so I've finally got the soundboard up and running now, so let's give that a try. That sounds really good. Well, I really want to play the game now. I absolutely love the sound of music in this game. Fantastic sounds.